You ready? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. طيب يا اخوان, this morning we're going to do something which is a little bit unorthodox. And basically what we're going to do is I'm going to tell a short story. And I know you say, well, what's so unorthodox about that? Well, what makes it unorthodox is the story that I'm going to tell is in reality a metaphor. What's a metaphor? Metaphor is something that's not real, but it represents something which is real. So the story is metaphorical, but it represents something which is real. I want you to pay close attention, because afterwards I want you to tell me what is this real thing that the story represents, and what are the lessons we can take from the story. So what makes it unorthodox is that the story it's not a story from the Quran, a story from the Sunnah, it's not a story from one of the lives of the righteous people. It's a metaphor, but it's an important metaphor for us to reflect on. That's why I'm going to share it with you this morning. So basically, the way the story goes is it's a family. A husband, wife, and children. And they set out on a journey. Going to travel a long distance. They pack their bags, load up their vehicle, and they set out on this journey together. And they expect it to be a long journey, but they're together as a family, taking this journey together, so they're up for the challenge. So they get out on the road, this highway. A lot of cars out there, a lot of people taking the same journey. And as the husband is driving, all of a sudden, he sees a man up ahead in the middle of the road, waving his arms frantically, trying to get his attention. And he's like on the highway, speeding. So he wants to try to obviously avoid hitting him. So he slams on his brakes and tries to cut the wheel and tries to swerve around him. But ultimately he has to do what? He has to just pull the car to the side to avoid hitting the man. So when he does that, he gets out, and obviously he's upset because it's a shocking experience. So he goes up to the man and starts shouting at him. Starts telling him, what's wrong with you? Are you stupid? Are you crazy? I could have killed you. Why are you standing in the middle of the road, middle of the highway, waving your hands? And so the man says, I'm sorry, I just really wanted to get your attention. And after apologizing, let me introduce myself. He says, I'm Wealth. And I want to get your attention because I want to accompany you on your journey. And ride with you and your family and make you rich. Make it easy for you to buy the things that you want for yourself, for your wife, for your children. That's what I want to do. And that's why I want to get your attention. And I must say, I just want to warn you that I'm high maintenance. I'm burdensome. I'm demanding. But I'm worth the burden. If you let me ride with you, I'll make it worth your while. So the man, he doesn't want to make a decision without consulting his family. So he consults them. And his wife says, yeah, of course. Let him ride with us. Come on. I mean, who doesn't want to be rich? Who doesn't want to be able to buy what they want when they want? And so his husband says, well, do we really have room? We have all of our luggage and we have the children. She said, we'll make room. We'll make room for Wealth. And so they let Wealth in the car. They make room for Wealth and they continue on their journey. So they keep going. They get a little bit further down the road, and the same thing happens. Another man in the middle of the road, waving his hands frantically, trying to get the attention of the driver, swerves to avoid him. Same exchange. What's wrong with you? You're stupid. Are you crazy? You're trying to kill yourself, etc. Says, my apologies. Just want to get your attention, and let me introduce myself. Says, I'm Fame. And I want to ride with you. I want to accompany you on this journey and make you famous. Make you somebody that everybody will know your name. And when people see you, they'll look up to you. They'll want to be like you. They'll want to take selfies with you, right? That's what I want to do. I want to make you like that. And I have to warn you that I'm burdensome. I'm high maintenance. That it's not going to be easy, to have me with you. But I'm going to make it worth your while. So the man, again, he consults his family, wants to get their input. They say, yeah, who doesn't want to be famous? Let's go for it. He says, yeah, but, we have ourselves, we have our luggage, we just let wealth into the car. Do we really have room? She said, we'll make room. We'll accommodate fame. We'll accommodate fame. It's okay. So they make room, they accommodate fame, and they keep going. طيب. A little bit further down the road, same scenario. Another man in the middle of the road, waving his hands frantically. Another exchange. This time the guy says, I'm power. I'm influence. I'm authority. And if you let me into the car, let me ride with you, I'll make you powerful. Make you influential. Make you someone who can make people do what you say, when you say, how you say. What do you think about that? I'll make you influential, but I'm warning you, I'm high maintenance. It's not going to be easy having me along. I want what I want when I want. I like to be obeyed. But if you obey me, I'll make it worth your while. Man consults his family again. What do you think? He says, yeah, I'll be powerful. I want to be influential. I want to be able to tell people what to do. I want people to listen to what I say. Why not? That's a good thing to have. That'll help us on our journey. He says, we got all, the car has only so much capacity. Is that a wise decision? He says, yeah, we'll make room. We'll make room for power and influence. He says, slave, okay. So they make room. They're all packed in this vehicle, headed on their journey, and it happens again. Sure enough, it happens again. Guy in the middle of the road, waving his hands frantically, wants to get their attention, pulls off to the side. Let me introduce myself, he says. I'm Deen. I'm religion. And I want to accompany you on your journey. And all I want to do is be a counselor. Just want to be somebody who is a sincere advisor. Somebody who will tell you how to use your wealth, use your power, and use your fame. And not misuse it, not abuse it. That's it. That's all I want to do. Man says, man, the car's pretty packed, pretty loaded, and I don't know, let me consult my family. What do you think? No. He says, no way. No way.
No room for
because see, if we let Deen in the car, he's going to tell us what we can and can't do. He's going to want to boss us around. And then we're not going to really be able to take the full advantage of the wealth, the power, the fame that we just amassed, that we just accumulated. And look, all this luggage, these children, and the 3 people we've already accommodated, there's no room. There's no room. Just tell them we're sorry. Tell them there's other cars, behind us. He'll get a ride with someone else. So Deen, he starts pleading his case. He says, no, I promise I won't be a burden. I promise that I will, I'll compromise. I'll acquiesce. You can put me anywhere. You can put me on the luggage rack. You can strap me to the bumper. You can put me in the glove box. you can, I'm flexible. Haven't you ever heard the statement, Deen? Yusr? Deen is easygoing. I just want to help you and have a place in the vehicle no matter what the place is. Just don't keep me outside of the vehicle. He says, I'm sorry, there's just no room. We apologize. We can't accommodate you. Keep on going. All of a sudden, they get to this checkpoint. And everybody has to stop. I know you guys have seen this like in the back home. You're going someplace and all of a sudden there's a place where everybody has to stop. So anyway, they get to one of those checkpoints. And they're seeing the cars up ahead. They're observing the scenario play out at this checkpoint. So what happens is that some cars, they're stopped. And some men come. Or a man comes. He's like the chief bobbit or whatever. The big officer, right? And he has with him some, I guess, lesser officers. And some of them, they're like dressed really nicely. Right? Their uniforms are well pressed. They have, very good badges or these, well, not badges, but what they call them?
Medals.
Medals, exactly. And they're just sharp and crisp. And they come to the car and they're smiling. And they greet the people nicely. And then they let them go. Or some of them, they remove them from the vehicle. But when they remove them what? In a very respectful and gentle way. And then you have these other officers who are a little bit more what? They're a little more gruff, and they're not dressed well. They're shabbily dressed, and their medals are not necessarily as neatly organized as the other ones. And when they come to the car, they're like dragging people out, kicking and screaming, and they're taking them in a different direction, and they're watching all of this unfold. So when they get up to the checkpoint, that same major head bobbit, he comes, and he starts just looking in the car. He opens the glove box, he looks under the seats, he opens the trunk, looks under the hood, looks under the undercarriage, looks on the luggage rack, opens their luggage, looks through the luggage. And so the guy is like a little bit uncomfortable. He's like, this, where's your warrant? This illegal search and seizure. He said, if there's something you're looking for, let me know what you're looking for, and I'll let you know if we have it or not. So this Thabit, he says, I'm looking for Deen. That's what we look for at this checkpoint. Didn't anybody tell you? When you get to this checkpoint, we look for what? Deen, and I don't find him anywhere in this vehicle. So the man says, oh, we left him back about 15 minutes. He's about 15, hey, just give me a second, and I'll go back and get him. And the man says, you're not going anywhere. This is the end of the line. Okay, I'm taking you away. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let your family go on. With wealth, with power, with fame,
everything.
And no Deen. And you know what else I'm going to do? Depending on how they use the wealth, the power, and the fame, I'm going to add time to your sentence. So now, ya ikhwani, I ask you, what is this journey?
Life.
It's the journey of life. And what is this checkpoint? The day of judgment, the day of your death, the day you die, the beginning of the hour, right? The beginning of the end. Who is that bobbit, the big one, the head one, who came? The angel of death. And who are those dubat, those officers who look handsome, they have nice uniforms, crisp and clean? Malaikat ar-Rahmah. And who are those dubat who came and they weren't too sharp and they were really mean? And when the family goes on, they continue living. And what gets added to your sentence is the deeds that they do with the wealth and the fame and the power you left them without Deen. So you get time added to what? Your sentence because of what they did in this world, because you didn't raised upon deen. As the Prophet said in the hadith, كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. All of you are shepherds, and each one of you is going to be asked about his flock, held accountable for what they do. طيب. So let's look at some lessons really quickly, ikhwan. I know you guys are tired. Forget it. We'll just stop there.
Is the microphone still working?
Yeah, it's working. I'm just teasing. Alhamdulillah.
Should I move it 2 yards away?
You want to move it away because I'm loud, all right?
No, because I don't want to get the break.
Because I grabbed it. That's for effect, you see.
Jazakallah khair.
Have to have some effect, you see. Yeah. All right, so let's look at some lessons.
Some effect.
So the first lesson is, if you notice, when wealth came, when fame came, when power came, they warned the man and his family, didn't they? Mm-hmm. They all said, I'm high maintenance. I'm going to be a burden. I'm going to be burdensome. They warned them. And so what this teaches us, ya ikhwani, is that we can't make the mistake of being in this world and collecting a bunch of things which are going to do what? Weigh us down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And keep us from getting where we're trying to go. We need to realize what's going to help and what's going to hurt. Put each thing in its proper category. And the things that hurt, we need to what? Limit how much we what? Take of those things. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said in the hadith in which he advised Ibn Umar, he said to him, he said, Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib aw abir sabil. He said, be in this world as if you are what? A foreigner. Somebody who doesn't belong. Somebody who's out of place. Then he said, oh, and what he meant by oh was what? Bel. No, even better than that. Ka'abir sabil. Like a person who's what? Just passing through. I'm just passing through, and so I don't have time to what? Collect a bunch of things which are going to what? Weigh me down, because I'm trying to get somewhere in a certain amount of time. But the second thing that we learn is on the other side of the coin, or on the other side of the coin, when Deen came, he was willing to what? Compromise. I just want some place in your life. And you might not be able to do everything I want you to do, and if you can't, I'm willing to what? Compromise. If you can't do something I'm asking you to do, if you can't fulfill a request of mine, I'll do what? I'll acquiesce, and I'll give you a free pass. I'll give you a break. That's what Deen said, as opposed to what the other three said.
The demand.
And this shows you the reality of Deen, which a lot of people, for whatever reason, they misunderstand. That Deen is what? Deen is easy. Deen is easy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He repeats this over and over again because of what? Because of our natural belief that Deen is difficult. Allah tells us throughout the Quran, He says, for example, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants to make things easy for you. He doesn't want to make things difficult. وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And Allah hasn't placed any difficulty in your religion. And He even said what? لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. Allah has not placed on a soul a burden greater than what it can bear. So it's from the shaitan, ya ikhwan, that we believe, oh, if you practice the Deen, it's going to be what? Difficult, so don't practice it. And then ask yourself, ya ikhwan, is Deen more demanding than dunya? Abadan. Dunya doesn't give you a free pass. You want dunya, you have to give what? Give all of yourself. All of yourself. Whereas Deen says what? Give me some of you, and you can even give dunya some of you. وَلَا تَنْسَى نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. This is what Deen says. Dunya doesn't say that. Dunya says, oh, leave that Deen. Leave that Deen. If you want me, you have to leave what? You have to leave the Deen. طيب. Another thing we notice is that every time the man was going to consider inviting someone, he did what? He consulted his what? His wife. And did they give him good advice? And wallahi, this is not to blame the women, because sometimes it could be the opposite. It could be the woman who's driving, And she turns to the man and says, what do you think? And he says, yeah, go for it. So the point is that sometimes the person who's closest to you can be a detriment. And they may not mean to be. They may not mean to be what? A detriment, but they can be what? A detriment. And you have to have your wits about you and know what's right and stand what? Stand firm. And not acquiesce to the wrong. Because if you do that, they can be what? They can be a trial for you. And they can actually push you towards what? Towards wrong. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ وَأَوْلَادِكُمْ عَدُوٌّ لَكُمْ فَاحْذَرُوهُم. And he says in the other one, he says, إِنَّ مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ وَأَوْلَادِكُمْ إنما
فتنة.
صح إنما أزواج إنما أولادكم إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة. That your wives and your children can be what? A trial for you, a test for you, right? طيب ثم بعد ذلك another lesson that we get is that when we die, يا إخوان, no one, especially not the angel of death, is going to care how much money we had, how much fame we had, how much influence we had. No one is going to care about that. The only thing that's going to matter when you die is what? Is Deen. When you die and what follows death, this is a time when all of those things are not going to matter in the least. And the only thing that's going to help you and save your neck is Deen. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ. A day when wealth and sons will not benefit anyone. It's not going to benefit you. So we have to remember that and always keep that what? نَصْبَ عَيُونِنَا. Right in front of ourselves. What's going to benefit me is Deen. People always talk about dunya and what they don't have. And what you don't have. And what you need to have. You don't own a house and you're 40 years old. You don't have this and you're... Get away from those people. Get away from those people. Because let's just say I went and did the things that people have to do nowadays to what? To get a house. What most people do to get a house is that they have to do what? Take an interest-bearing loan, this huge loan, to get this what? House. Now you got this beautiful house that people drive by and they're awed by it, but it has to be furnished, right? How are you going to furnish this beautiful house with the type of furniture which what? Suits a house like this? You don't have that type of capital, so you have to do what? Yeah, take what? More interest. Take another loan, personal loan to do what? To furnish it. Is that right? And then, you can't have that Pinto, that beat down Chevrolet, rusted Chevrolet parked out front, can you? This beautiful mansion with this beautiful furniture on the inside. So now you have to do what? Have to buy the car that suits that. You have to take a second mortgage to what? Pay for the car, right?
Keep going.
Exactly. Keep going. And the clothing that you wear when you get out of that nice car has to suit that. It just what? It just what? It just goes on,
no end.
On and on
Keep
and
going.
on.
Keep going.
No end. Through بعد ذلك we'll mention one last lesson.
Subhanallah.
And that is, if you notice, when he got to the checkpoint, and the officer started saying, "Where's Deen? Looking for Deen." He said, "Hey,
It's too late.
it's 15 minutes back. 15 minutes back. I want to just what? I want to go back and get Deen." And what that teaches you, ya ikhwan, is that every person who dies, and they die without Deen, they're going to do what? They're going to want to? They're going to want to go back, but they're not going to be able to what? Go back. So think about that now while you're still here. I don't want to be the person who gets there and doesn't have Deen, who wants to go back but can't go back. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتُ قَالَ رَبِّ ارْجِعُونِ لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِيمَا تَرَكْتُ. كَلَّا says, until death comes to one of them and he says, "Oh, my Lord, let me go back. La'alli, perhaps, in the hope that I will do good in what I've left behind. Kalla. No, it's nobody goes back. Allah says in the other ayah, من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت فيقول ربي لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق وأكون من الصالحين. He says, be like this before death comes to one of you. And he says, oh Allah, would you please grant me respite. And when he says respite, he means what? A few moments. فَأَصَّدَّقْ. So I can just give some charity, do something to do what? To increase the weight of the other scale. وَأَكُونَ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And just do some righteous deeds. Wants to go back, doesn't want to go back to party, doesn't want to go back to get more money, wants to go back to do what? To worship Allah. Let's do that now before it's too late. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Let's make room for Deen, ya ikhwan.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan.
بارك الله فيك.
Allah reward.
Allah is
Any comments, brothers? Anybody want to have some commitment? Anybody want to do something better? One hand doesn't clap. And Allah say, وَتَعَوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. So everything you need, you understand that we put our effort together and put our hands together, at least for our children, you understand? So this is part of ibadah. So alhamdulillah that Allah bless us that we have the place, that we have many things, really we have many things that we can do something, but the problem is that we still trying to make room for brother fame and brother game and brother shaitan and all these things. So inshallah, hopefully that this morning reminder of this morning, they will bring some Muslims inshallah to try to do something together. Jazakumullah khairan, and may Allah reward our brother Abdullah for this beautiful story, made up metaphorical story.
It's real life. It plays out every day.
It's real, brother.
Plays out every day.
Those who would like, inshallah, to join us in walking and getting some exercise, we'll be going outside in a couple of minutes, inshallah.